National headlines matter, but what happens here in Cleveland and across Ohio matters more. That's what we talk about every day. This is the Jake Underwood Show on AM 1420. The Answer.
Hello and good morning. Welcome into the Jake Underwood Show right here. AM 1420, The Answer, 102.9 FM, or free when you search the Jake Underwood Show on Rumble. I am Jake Underwood. The man behind the glass is one Mr. Kenny Kidd. Good morning, Kenny.
Hi. Good morning.
How's it going, Kenny?
Good.
Very good.
Good weekend.
Yeah.
Good, nice week coming up.
Yeah, good weekend. Weather was nice.
Yeah.
Hopefully people got out to do things. The Lord tested my patience this weekend, and I'm going to tell people how. But real quick, there's a lot to talk about. 12 wounded at a festival in Toledo. Suspects still at large. They're saying I've heard suspect and then suspects. Mm-hmm. So plural. They're saying there may be two. It might be one. We'll dive into the details of that. We'll talk about what the latest is with Iran, because it's kind of a back and forth right now. Some big changes happening in California with their election. Everything I see is Hilton's still there.
Yeah.
Chugging right along.
Barely, but still
yes, there. Barely. I'm a little confused as to how somebody can concede when it comes to that L.A. mayor's race and somehow decide, never mind. You know, like Kenny and I can't decide right now. We're leaving. We're done. Thank you for everything.
It's over.
You know, turn out the lights. The party's over. And then decide, at 9:45 to go, we were just, never mind. I mean, I know we filed the paperwork and everything, but never mind, we're back. Like, you can't do that. But apparently you could do that in elections. So, yeah, we'll dive into that. And then 5 were shot in Cleveland during a card game.
Great.
Yes. So we'll get into the details on that. And then at 9:30, we're going to talk to Jeff and Gina from Gino's
Gelato
and Java. And this was last week they came in. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. That was insane. How good.
Delicious.
Oh, my goodness. I mean, yeah, we'll talk about it. I mean, they tell you they got the finest ingredients. No, they really do. No, like they actually really do. It was very good. And then yeah, Max Miller at 9:15. We're gonna catch up with the. He was busy last week.
Yeah, he was.
He was a busy guy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are we getting a little emotional?
A little bit. I am gonna ask him on air. I'm gonna say, do we have your consent to make sure that we can use this clip? I don't see him saying no.
I can't imagine him saying no.
No. Oh, I'm sorry. Are we getting a little emotional? And yeah, that was, oh, man. And then,
he said it.
Yes, I said it. I own it, and I stand by it.
That is true. That is true.
He does own it.
And we're also going to talk about, because people are making a big deal about President Trump walking off with that interview. I get it. I understand it. What I'm more concerned about is that he said that he never said no new wars during that interview. And I'm like, brother, Mr. President, sir, with all due respect, you ran on that.
Yeah.
So you may have misspoke, and that's fine. That's fine. People, I do it all the time. People misspeak.
It happens.
And yeah, it happens. But yeah, we're going to play the clip. The funniest part to me is when the reporter's going, "Sir, I flew 4 hours to be here."
Wow.
Oh, did you? Oh, well, I'm sorry. Oh, that's so hard for you to not have to pay for the flight or anything else. It was just one of these. She saw an opportunity. And look, to her credit, she took advantage of it. She got her little viral moment. She'll be good to go. So, she doesn't care about anything else. She got her likes, clicks, and retweets for probably the next 6 months. She's going to be known as the one that she frustrated the president so much that he gave up. Oh, the View's going to have her on?
Oh, yeah.
Joy Behart's got to sit there and talk about, oh, my goodness, can you believe it? Oh, geez. Terrible.
She could turn this into a congressional run if she wants.
Oh, don't say that. Oh, no.
Just saying,
no.
She could.
Oh, no. We come back, we'll talk to the congressman. That and more. This is the Jake Underwood Show. Welcome back to the Jake Underwood Show right here AM 1420, The Answer. I am Jake Underwood. The man behind the glass is one Mr. Kenny Kidd. And the man on the hotline, listen, he was on the Marcello's Hot Honey hotline. He delivered what might be one of the best clips that we are ever going to use. And Kenny, if you could play it so he can hear it real quick.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are we getting a little emotional?
The way that we are going to be able to apply that, as long as we have his consent, of course, is, of course, Congressman Max Miller. He's joining us on the Marcello's Hot Honey Pepperoni Hotline. Congressman, listen, that was one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life.
Hey, well, Jake and Kenny, my words may have been struck down, but guess what? The American people got to hear them, and they sided with me. And she does associate herself with those individuals every single day, and she advocates for them too. And I got to tell you, our office receives support from all across the country, not only Republicans, which is I'm sure what most people would think, but guess what? A lot of independents and a ton of Democrats, because they don't like what's happening to their party either. So this is something that we've been continuing to do in Congress, but standing up for the United States of America and pushing back against the silly narrative that, Rashida Tlaib is pushing is something that we'll always do. But I got to tell you, it felt really good to do that on the House floor for our district and for our country.
Yeah, I was watching the clip of that, and I'm like, he's doing a good job, like keeping composure, and then when I saw your head turn, I go, oh, this is going to be good. And you said that, I had to pause the video. I started laughing, man. And then it was so funny because as I was getting ready to send it to Kenny sent it to me. I have a few other people sending it to me, and I'm like, man, this is hilarious. I cannot wait to talk to him about this. It was so good. So good. And well done. Well done.
Thank you. I got to tell you, though, the person who deserves a lot of credit here is Chairman Brian Mast, the chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee, who really, after, I was told I couldn't speak for the rest of the day, he read my words into the record, and I believe they were, I said it, I own it, I stand by it. And then he started reading in articles into the record, Jake and Kenny, okay, that were titled, Rashida Tlaib dines, with Hamas terrorists, along the lines of that. And he entered in several articles into the record, and she had a complete meltdown. And once again, all these individuals do is they go with personal attacks, and they don't rely on the facts that are there. And it's something that Democrats do every single day. But shout out to Chairman Mast out of Florida, who did one heck of a job as an American patriot. But yeah, that was quite a fun day that we haven't had in a while. So
Yes, I said it. I own it, and I stand by it.
That's right. It was great. And and then on top of it, you also you made some headlines because of the different hearings and different things that you had going on, and you really got some answers on things for the listeners that might not have been following along with all of the hearings last week. What was your biggest takeaway from Secretary Rubio's testimony on Iran and the foreign policy?
Yeah, thank you. Yes, we had two big witnesses. As you said, Secretary Rubio on Foreign Affairs and Secretary Besson in Ways and Means. But Secretary Rubio, when I was asking him questions, he was very, forthright and direct. And he was very clear that, why is the country building up their enrichment when it comes to uranium levels the way that Iran is? And that I still do believe that what the administration did and what Secretary Rubio advocating in terms of taking out the Ayatollah and the IRGC regime is the right thing to do. But if you see what's happening now, I don't know if people have noticed, I bet you they have, gas prices are going down right now. And the more and more, Jake, I listen to Secretary Rubio talk, the more and more I realize that maybe, just maybe, it's not a good idea to, have your, independence to a certain extent rely on a terrorist nation. Maybe that's something we really shouldn't think about continuing to do and look for other ways in order to make sure that, we're an energy independent country as we once were before. And so right now, from what I'm seeing, our ports are open, energy is back online. It's my hope that the administration can keep this consistent. And look, if these crazy people out there in the Strait of Hormuz want to continue to do damage to them and erode away their country, I like how we're thinking outside of the box and actually delivering for the American people, right? This isn't a sustainment of what Biden did in terms of gas prices, directing the market to EVs instead of everything else. I mean, if President Trump and Secretary Rubio do end up, being successful in this timeline, it's pretty remarkable that it only took about 4 to 5 months in order to accomplish this, to make the world a safer place for, my kids, yours, and everyone else's in this country and in the world, for that matter.
Yeah, no, well said. I mean, when all of this started, I think the big fear was, a forever war, because we've just seen it time and time again. And I even had to, to myself, I had to go, all right, you can't get, caught up in all of that, because that's just propaganda at this point, and there's no proof that it's going to be a forever war. And in my head, I go, it'd be great if it ends in 3, but I think it'll be done in 6. I don't know why. That just seemed to be my mindset, because we know the way that President Trump and the people in his administration, the good thing about the fact that we've seen them in positions before is we know how they work, and we know that they're going to be willing to make a deal. But man, once they hit that point of we're over it, get it done or else, that's when people really start to take them seriously. And let me ask you, because there were some things made about a congressional vote last week when it comes to just how much power Congress and the president, that with war powers and oversight with military action involving Iran, how much control or say should Congress have when it comes to a military action?
Yeah. In terms of, a full-on military action, I believe that Congress should have a say. It's within our Article 1 authority that I believe has been taken away from Congress for some time. Now, I'm not just saying this as an excuse to punt the proverbial football here. But presidents before, President Trump have done exactly, what he has done in Iran. As I've been on your show before, we talked about President Barack Obama and his actions in Libya, and what he did with drone strikes over in the Middle East.
Yep.
And, what is said about, tens of thousands of innocent individuals being killed. No one likes to talk about that. But at the end of the day, if it is going to be a seismic shift within our country's history, yes, members of Congress deserve a voice in it, because we are the voice of the people back home. That is our job. Our job is not to push a plan that they are not ready for. Our job is to listen to them every step of the way and to make sure that their voices are accurately represented in Congress. So, yes, I agree, that we should have more say in it. But I also agree that the administration should be more open about it, at least with members of Congress. They have been, Secretary Rubio has been brought in. He's been very open. But it would be nice to get higher-level briefings. And I understand what the president says, I don't want to give away the game plan, okay, Jake? Because if I do, they'll know what an idiot Obama was. Okay, told him what he,
Right.
I get his strategy. But, we also, we are held accountable by the people to be, truthful to them, as I always am. So.
And yeah, that we also hear that a lot, because, we'll have callers from both sides that say that, there should be, briefings with Congress so they know what's going on. And then on the flip side of that, and I can really understand it from both sides when you have people that go, yeah, well, people in Congress, some of them can't keep their mouths shut. So why would the administration tell them what's going on? And so, I really do. I see it. I get where they're coming from.
Yeah, they're not wrong at all, Jake.
Right.
There are some people and members of Congress that should not have information and access to things. And look, members of Congress are just like everybody else. They're no different. They're very human. And some of them can be trusted and some of them can't be. And there's more than you think. But at the end of the day, I do believe that the administration and every administration, regardless of the president, should be forthright with Congress in terms of military action, because they would probably end up receiving more support, which means that there'd be less backlash within the country if we were all more informed. So,
hey, you also had another hearing, and you mentioned it before with the Treasury Secretary. Can you tell us a little bit about the Digital Parity Act and what exactly it is for those who might not know what that bill will do?
Yeah, exactly. So we've been working on this for about 16 months within our office in D.C., and when I was looking at cryptocurrency, Jake, I had no idea, and Kenny, I didn't know if you guys knew this, but 1 in every 5 Ohioans owns cryptocurrency. That blew my mind. It is a new, form of investment, a new form of interchange and paying for things. And right now, there is no, guardrails on cryptocurrency that are there to make sure that it's safe. And right now, we are losing business to other countries because we do not have a stable tax code when it comes to cryptocurrency. And this is something that, industry and people have really asked for, because at the end of the day, when you're doing your taxes, Jake and Kenny, and I was getting this education and have been, you could be paying phantom taxes. And if you're a company out there and you want to set up in the United States of America, which President Trump says he wants to make the cryptocurrency of the world and the crypto capital, then that's something that we have to do here. And Secretary Bessent gave us, great answers in saying that he would work with me, along with a colleague of mine on the committee, Stephen Horsford, in order to accomplish that. So, my hope is that we get this done so we don't live in a world, and, hopefully never, where Elizabeth Warren is Treasury Secretary, and then she raises the taxes on these things and drives out cryptocurrency just like the Biden administration tried to do. So this is just, very simple in terms of just putting guardrails in place to make sure that the other side, if they get in charge, don't take it too far and raise taxes that the American people can't stomach.
You also brought up the Full House Act. What's the problem that bill's trying to fix when it comes to gambling losses and taxation?
Yeah, so when I introduced this bill, people were like, what is Miller doing? And so what I've noticed is from reconciliation, there was a tax that was put in on gaming. And it is a very steep tax. What this would do is it would turn it back to the status quo. Right now, we are losing people within the service industry with no tax on tips. A lot of people aren't going to casinos anymore. And we have one in the city of Cleveland. And, we have constituents that work at that casino. And if you look at our district, we are just about 12 minutes outside of that casino. And so that does matter to me, and it should matter to everyone. And we're losing, a lot of business and revenue. And where it's going is Russian illicit gaming casinos online. And guess where that money's going? Exactly where it sounds. And that money is then going to harm other people, whether it be in Ukraine or whether it be Americans in Iran, because we know Russia and Iran are working together and have been for some time. So this is also a national security, measure that we're taking into consideration and wanting that back here within the United States. So it's just more than, going back to the status quo. It's making sure that our country is safe and continuing to be, as we make sure that we aren't having Americans or, other individuals spend money at illicit casinos that are only going to harm Americans or our allies overseas.
Yeah, well, I mean, we want to make sure our money stays here, not, it can't be used against us later on. Before I let you go, Congressman, what are some of the things that we should keep an eye on this week? You got a busy week ahead is basically what I'm asking.
Yeah, well, don't worry. Every day for me and our team is an adventure, one that, we actually look forward to. And so this week is going to be no different than any other week. I'm sure it's going to be crazy. The hearings aren't as big, but what I'm hoping is that we can find, a resolution to reconciliation and that our conference can get on the same page here because, look, we can acknowledge that right now, where we are today, the midterms are going to be tough. And the only people who are going to support us, are our own team. And it's our job to make sure that we have that message that only resonates with our base, that gets our people out to vote this November, but also attracts the middle. And I believe that, from now on, from this point in Congress, you're going to see that on the official side. And you're going to see it as well on the political side as we've been, out in the community. Even yesterday, we were at the North Olmsted Community Park opening, which was fantastic. My daughter had a blast. And then we were at the Parma Ribbon Rock. And so, those are the things that we need to do and focus on the issues that matter. My hope is, we can really pass some legislation that's going to help, lower the cost of goods, that's actually going to make our lives better. And, so that's what I'm focused on. But who knows, someone could go on the House floor again, Jake, and, maybe say that, someone who associates themselves with terrorists are going to go ahead and do that again. So
well, as long as they say it and they stand by it, that's what matters.
Well, here, I know I'm getting kicked off, but real quick, we'll see if I decide to go back down to the House floor and make my remarks just a little bit more broad and see if they're going to strike them. And if they do, then I would force it to a vote and bring every member back to the House.
Yeah.
So you know what? let's go ahead and see, how sensitive. And just remember the last thing, we're talking about the same people who set up the czar of misinformation, who wanted to monitor our phones and tell us what we could and could not say. And so I'm sorry, Ms. Tlaib, that you got offended by the truth. So look, it should be a fun week. If we decide, to enter into that fray again, you'll be the first to know.
All right, sounds good. Well, Congressman, thank you for your time, and have a good week. We'll catch up again next week.
All right, guys, take care.
That, of course, Congressman Max Miller joining us on the Marcello's Hot Honey Pepperoni Hotline.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are we getting a little emotional?
I can't wait.
Oh, it's going to be so good. We'll be back. When we come back, we're going to talk to Jeff and Gina from Gina's Gelato and Java. They got a cool backstory. I like what they're doing there. And the gelato's incredible. Well, you'll hear more about that when we come back. This is the Jake Underwood Show. Welcome back to the Jake Underwood Show right here, AM 1420, The Answer. And I'm a little starstruck. I'm not going to lie. You know the voices, and you know them, and as soon as they start to talk, you're going to go, I know those voices. And, of course, I'm talking about Jeff and Gina from Gina's Gelato and Java. Thank you for coming in.
Well, thank you for having us.
Of course.
It's an honor.
Yeah, I really am. I got to tell you, they walked into the studio, and immediately I go, I feel like I'm in a commercial break. It's crazy. So, I mean, the voices are very distinct. And, thank you for, making time to come in. I want to talk about it because and I was telling you guys before we started this, the young Republicans, every time Affogado's mentioned, the chat blows up, people are commenting on it. But I want to find out more about kind of the story behind just the Gelato and Java name and the idea. What brought that on?
Well, I'll take it. Well, when we thought about what we wanted to do, we thought first about, where would we want to go? We both grew up with Italian backgrounds, so everyone was family, even if you weren't family. You were family. We'd gather around all together, talking, laughing, eating a lot around the kitchen table, so that was normal. So when we thought about what we wanted our place to be like, well, that was it. It's like the Italian hospitality. The feeling of being together in a familiar home, welcoming friend, relaxed, simple, and good treats to eat.
That's lacking.
Yes.
That family feeling of everything. So to hear you say that, and it's funny because, I do this. I like the local companies, especially to talk to and to partner with when doing the commercials and different things. And I've worked at different stations, and usually it's like big corporate stuff. So here I'm like, this is cool because I speak Marcello's. It's a place out. It's a pizza place out in Medina, and it's the same. That's small. There's like a few people that work there. They're very close knit, and you do like I walk in there, Fanny, and she knows this, but she's older than me, but she's like a sister. And even like when she comes in to record stuff, it's like, all right, see you later. You're my little brother. Be safe, be careful, because it is that family feel. Yes. And I think that's just lacking. And, I could tell by the commercials and just talking to you, you're very down to earth, and you have that family feel. You're very welcoming. Yes. And that I think that's what stands out even in the commercials, besides the affogato. I think that stands out.
Comes our tagline, which is "Come Together."
Yeah.
Come together.
And so that was the goal. That's what we wanted to do, is create that type of atmosphere.
And so you did a great job creating the atmosphere, and then you decided with Gelato and Java, and that's a pretty unique combo. So what's the story behind picking those two?
We really loved the thought of blending both worlds together. The gelato being rooted in the Italian tradition, and the coffee roasted right in Columbus. Pairing those two just felt natural. Yeah. It just felt right. And it's kind of our way of honoring where we come from while celebrating where we are.
The Italian heritage.
The Italian heritage. And our roasters have been really good to us.
They gave us great training. They bring a great product to the table.
Yeah.
People just love our coffee. Everyone says your coffee is so good.
Yeah.
So much better.
It's a nice,
than
high-quality espresso bean.
So I need to come get some coffee.
Absolutely.
Yes,
That's
yeah,
right.
And
I'm
so
here.
we have a lot of returning regulars just
Yeah.
for the flavor of our coffee.
Interesting. Yeah. See, I run on caffeine, so that would probably
That's
be
me too.
be great.
Yeah.
I want to ask about one part of it because I'm Maha, Make America Healthy Again guy, and I kind of stay away from ice cream for that reason. But I know that gelato, it is kind of a healthier dessert. It's something that I don't. I guess there such thing as a healthy dessert, but there
well,
is that health.
There is a difference.
Yes.
Okay. So what the difference is it's in the ingredients and the process.
Okay.
Okay. So our gelato was made the traditional Italian way, where it's slow churned, so it's less air, makes
Okay.
it more dense. So less is better.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Less is more. Less is better. And it's made with mostly milk and less cream, which is lower butter fat.
Right. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then it's served at a warmer temperature, so the flavors like pop when you first taste it.
Okay.
Yeah, you can actually taste the pistachio, the chocolate, the fruit, the ingredients that are in there. And it's different than the cold iced over ice cream that you get in a normal
Yeah,
thing.
you get
Yeah.
that creamy residue with the ice cream.
Right.
It's,
and-
it's authentic and consistent, and those are two key words: authentic and consistent gelato.
Yeah, because with ice cream, I don't want to say sometimes it tastes bland, but it tastes really bland. Just to put it, bluntly.
Yeah.
But yeah, it could taste really bland. But yeah, I've had gelato. I haven't had like authentic gelato, so
You're going to have it.
I know. I'm excited.
You're
I'm
gonna
excited.
have it.
People come back from Italy,
Yeah.
and we've been looking for authentic gelato, and this is it. You have it.
Yeah.
And that's so good to hear.
So it's authentic
awesome
ingredients. It's a origin of authenticity. That's what they call it.
Where do you get the gelato from? What's the story behind that?
Well, we developed a partnership with a premier leader in the gelato industry whose recipe originated from Italy.
Okay.
Okay, so they track down the most authentic global location for each ingredient they use, and they call it the origin of authenticity. So they're getting their pistachios from Bronte, Italy.
Wow.
They're
Madagascar,
Madagascar
Vanilla
vanilla
bean.
bean.
Belgium
The
chocolate.
mangoes are coming from Africa.
It's the real deal.
It's the real deal.
Yeah.
It's
Oh.
not like you go to the store and buy the ingredients.
Right.
Because we couldn't make it authentic
Yeah.
if we did that.
Yeah, you weren't kidding when you said it's authentic.
Yes.
It's the real deal.
Yeah.
And so you've got the drive-through, you've got the cozy cafe. Can you tell us what's the vibe and what's a typical afternoon look like?
Yeah, the drive-through, for one, it is popular in the mornings with the people going to work, wanting to just keep moving. And then also during the day, as far as someone who's maybe coming in for a coffee break, when they want to get it quick and go through the drive-through.
Yeah.
Excuse me. But the real deal is inside, when you come inside. And I see people all the time because I kind of work the floor.
Yeah.
I'm the floor manager, and or front of house, as they say. But I see the wow factor when they walk in. They walk in, they look down, and I don't know if you saw any pictures or anything, but we have an Italian street scene that they see, and they're like, "Wow, it feels like we're in Italy,"
Yeah.
you know. And then they get to the coffee, and then they smell the coffee, and they're like, "Wow, this is authentic coffee, and this is good stuff." And then they get to the gelato. Wow, look at all those flavors
Right.
and those colors and all that good stuff.
Over 16 flavors in our case.
Yeah.
So
And they can get free samples to test it, to try
Okay.
it, to see which one they want. So that's a good. And so as far as the indoor for me, I see that wow factor, and I see the smiles on just like kids' faces.
Yeah.
And just everyone who comes in just loves it, and they're just raving about it.
And so summer, I mean, this is going to be your busy season, I assume, summer, because it's officially here. And so what are some of the flavors or creations that you're most excited about right now? And I was told, and I saw the bag, I hear that there's some in studio with us right now.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. We brought you some.
Okay.
Yes.
We couldn't pass up that opportunity.
Well, I appreciate it. I look forward to it. But what are some of the flavors and creations you're most excited about for this summer?
Well, we've already talked about it earlier, but if you haven't tried the affogato,
Yeah.
you definitely need to start there. Talk about the best of both worlds.
Okay.
Okay. So you get that scoop of gelato drenched in a hot shot of espresso. So talk about indulgence. Okay.
Yeah.
And there's different flavors that you can choose, for that affogato. Most popular is like what you like.
Yeah, vanilla. I like.
He likes the Madagascar vanilla bean.
Yeah.
The pistachio is popular, and the spumoni. So whichever flavor you choose, you won't regret, because it's an amazing pairing.
Okay. Yeah.
Together. So then we have a gelato sandwich, and it's made with a brioche bun,
Okay.
a scoop of gelato. You can put some chocolate drizzle or some whipped cream in there, and then we heat it in a panini-like press. So it's
Okay.
cool on the inside,
Yeah.
warm on the outside.
All right.
Okay, so that is something that you definitely have to try.
Yeah.
Very popular in Italy.
And then there's the gelato floats that we brought out for the summer.
Okay.
That's any flavor that you want with root beer or
Vanilla cream. And
yeah, we have different sodas that are available. And again, that's another good pour over.
Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Yeah. I'm gonna have to stop by. I'm gonna spend an afternoon here. So, yeah. Wow. Ooh. Okay. All right. And so before we wrap up, I just, because we've talked behind the scenes and everything, but this is a moment for listeners to know about you, and is there anything that you want the listeners to know while we're wrapping up here?
Well, talking about the vibe on the inside,
Yeah.
a typical
important,
day
yeah.
is the new friends that we've made who keep coming back. We have, I can mention Tom and Diane, who come in for our Italian wedding soup.
Mm-hmm.
We have Marcia and her crew, who order everything from gelato to pinzas to mochas. Henry comes in twice a day. Mary comes in every day. Roseanne and Teresa, they've tried everything on the those are the relationships, and the connections that we have made with people we've never met.
Yeah.
But they come in every day or every other day or once a week, and our staff who really shows up and gives 100% because they understand what we're about, the Italian hospitality.
Yeah.
So our regulars are definitely turning into friends at this point, which is why we kind of started it.
Yeah.
We're proud of our staff because they have taken up that mantle of the hospitality, and so often you walk into places you don't even get greeted or
Right.
anything. Well,
Right.
We're over the top with it, you know.
Yeah.
And people love that. They say the service is good, the people are great, and all that. So.
And we deliver.
Yeah.
We deliver a product that is quality, unique, and authentic.
That's right.
And, and consistent.
And that's right. And it helps that both you both are very easygoing.
Mm-hmm.
You have a great both of you have a great smile. And as soon as you walked in, not only did I recognize the voice, the smiles, I'm like, this is going to be great. But I want to thank you for both Jeff and Gina from Gina's Gelato and Java. Thank you for coming in today and making some time.
Us.
And I look forward to the next time.
Well, thank you. We appreciate it.
Soon thereafter, we got to taste the gelato.
Yes.
It's very good.
Look,
the strawberry one took me back to my childhood. I still don't remember the place, but it was a place in Seville that had very good milkshakes and malts, and that's what it reminded me of. I got taken back to, I was like 5, 7, playing t-ball. We won, and that's where we went. It was insane. Like
flashback of memories for you.
Yeah, literally. I was like, whoa. So yeah, if you get a chance, stop by. Gina's, Gelato and Java, and that's on Stumpf Road. It's 6201 Stumpf Road in Parma Heights.
Yeah, I had the chocolate and the vanilla bean, and I got to say, the vanilla bean was great, but that chocolate, if you don't audibly grunt or moan or something when you first taste it. There's something wrong with you. I took that a spoonful of that chocolate. I was like,
yeah,
man.
Oh yeah. Well, I
like,
kept,
wow.
They kept I kept trying different ones, and each one I'm like, oh wow, oh wow, and it was genuine. It wasn't. Yeah, no, it's very good. So yeah, if you get the chance, the website is also if you Google search Gina's Gelato in Java, and then Gina's, yes, and then the website is ginasgelatoandjava.com. So go there and get some more information. Take a look at their menu. It's very good stuff. Very good stuff. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll start talking about the news. We'll talk about what Max Miller had to say there, the congressman, in his interview. And a big thank you to Jeff and Gina for making time to stop in and give us some samples. Very good. Very good. I highly recommend. 10 out of 10 recommend. This is the Jake Underwood Show. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the Jake Underwood Show right here. AM 1420, The Answer, 102.9 FM, or free, really anywhere. You get your podcast, or if you want to watch us, search the Jake Underwood Show on Rumble. Big thank you to Jeff and Gina for coming in, giving us some samples. And a big thank you to Congressman Max Miller. I mean, he might be doing it again.
Yes, I said it. I own it, and I stand by it.
And, of course, if you don't know what I'm referring to when I said he might do it again, I mean, he called out Rashida Tlaib on a lot of things.
And she was not happy.
She was not happy. In fact, some might say she got a little emotional.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are we getting a little emotional?
And the what you heard in the background, it was not a chicken. That was actually Rashida Tlaib. And she was upset. She was just so hurt being called out on the things that she supports and how she supports them. And because, it's that thing that some people in the government are just allergic to. It's accountability. They start sneezing and coughing and hacking all over themselves. And, Max Miller did everything he could to hold her accountable.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are we getting a little emotional?
Yeah, that's not even an effect that we added. We actually tried to take it out because we wanted to clean up the audio. But, we'll see. We'll see what continues with that. Did you see the interview where President Trump walked off?
Yes. The brief little bit of it that I did. I didn't see the entire. What was it, like 2 minutes?
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. I mean, the interview itself was long, and it was building up. It happened out in it was Wisconsin, where he was hanging out with Joe Thomas.
Nice.
Did you see that?
No, I did not.
Yeah, he was hanging out with Joe Thomas. I'm sure every Browns fan, they're like, I don't know if I want to follow from him now. Like, they're going to start spazzing out. But yeah, Joe Thomas is a farmer, and President Trump wanted to talk to farmers, so it was smart. Let's not take it that hard to those people that want to be upset about it.
Your brain doesn't have to explode over everything.
Yeah, not everything. It's okay. You're going to be all right. It's okay. Take a breath. Go outside. Put your hand on the grass. Make sure none of the ticks that make you allergic to steak are there. That's how that works.
That's insane.
That's insane. I got made fun of yesterday at church because I was wearing pants, wearing jeans and boots, and they're like, "It's 80 degrees. What are you?" And I'm like, "I'm not risking getting bit by a tick that is going to make me allergic to steak."
You think there's ticks at church?
I don't know. No,
Okay.
not at church. No, but like in the parking lot. I'm not chancing it, man.
Okay,
I'm not.
I don't know for sure. I'm not. I have no idea, but I think that provided you're not hiking through a lot of wooded areas, I think you should be okay.
I
don't know, but still, I mean, you should be careful and check.
I like steak too much.
I love steak.
Oh man, a good steak. Put some butter on it. Oh, come on.
If I was allergic to it, I'd probably break out in hives every other day.
That's what I'm saying. Like the thing is, I'm going to eat it anyway.
I would still eat it. Yeah,
I just want to enjoy it.
I still enjoy it. Just the after effect, I wouldn't enjoy.
Sitting there scratching like a dog with fleas. But yeah, so because I want to play the clip in its entirety. But what got? I mean, there were different things. Talking about interest rates and all that stuff, and the one that really the straw that was that broke the camel's back for the president was the stuff going on in California with the election.
Mm-hmm. The obvious.
If you don't know, I saw some people saying that Steve Hilton no longer has a lead. That's a lie. That's not true. He's in second now, but he's still in the runoff.
Well, see, they must have looked at tomorrow's count then.
That's right. That's
Okay.
right. But Spencer Pratt seems to be out, even though the woman who was in third, the councilwoman, Ramon, now she's in second, but she conceded, so she must have withdrew conceding. I don't
know. Well, what's the point of conceding?
What's the point of
doesn't
quitting
mean
if you can unquit? It doesn't make much sense. But I guess it builds the storyline of the voters wanted me back, so I came back. Whatever. Karen Bass is probably going to win again in L.A. It's
good luck.
Yeah, honestly, best of luck. But Steve Hilton still has a chance there in California. And if you look at the maps, the new maps, they really backfired on the people who drew them in California. A lot of those maps are red.
Yeah.
A lot of those districts that they redrew are red. So we'll see what happens. When we come back, we'll dive into it a little bit more. President Trump, he said, we're done. I'm done. I'm not doing this. Which I get. I completely get it. Walk out of there. Why would you set yourself up for failure? This is Jake Underwood Show. We'll be back right after this.
National headlines matter, but what happens here in Cleveland and across Ohio matters more. That's what we talk about every day. This is the Jake Underwood Show on AM 1420. The Answer.
Hello and good morning. Welcome into the Jake Underwood Show right here, AM 1420. The Answer on this Monday, June 8th, 2026. It's not 6-7. 6-7
No,
was
that was
yesterday.
yesterday.
No, 6-7. That's right.
I love annoying the kids with that
It's so
much.
funny. It's so funny. Like I was talking to somebody because buddy of mine, he brought his kid to church yesterday, and he started doing the 6-7 stuff, and so I start doing it back. He's like, "No," and I'm like 6-7, and they're like, a friend of mine, they're like, "I don't even know what that's from." Like, it's from a rap song. They're like, the fact that you know, like the fact that you just know, is very sad. And I'm like, well, I gotta know what's going on. I keep up with the trends here and there. Hey there, kiddos. You know,
I love doing it because my initial thought on it was, this is stupid.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see if I can help kill it.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
and of course I do it now, and my daughter's like, "Dad, stop. It's dead.
It's dead.
It's dead. Stop."
It's funny. That's very funny. Yeah, I just like doing it right. Like it's dumb. It's a stupid
dumb,
thing.
yeah.
I mean, the countless stupid things I did in high school that I don't remember, that were like little trends like that until I see it and I go, "Oh no." Like, I mean, I went to high school when Jersey Shore was a thing. So when it comes to trends and stuff, there are pictures that I have removed from the internet that will never show back up just because of the way my hair was.
When I was out, it had to have been like maybe 7th or 8th grade, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey, Excellent Adventure. So any home videos from then, excellent, bogus, it's so stupid. It's like, burn that tape.
Yeah. No, I mean, we've all done. Yeah, it's that stupid thing that they're doing. I mean, my generation also had Vine, so we thought 6-second clips were funny.
6 second, not 6-7.
No, 6 second, not 6-7.
So dumb.
Wow. All right. Speaking of something else that's dumb, when you're a reporter and you're able to sit down with the president of the United States, your goal is to keep them there as long as possible. Not to make yourself the story, but to, make sure that you get the most out of that interview that you can. Unfortunately, the people at, I believe it was CNBC or NBC, Meet the Press, did not get that memo. I don't know why they didn't get that memo, but some of the questions that were asked, I mean, here's the thing. You know the way that, the direction that an interview is going to go. And I don't know, at the very least, maybe save it for the end or don't ask it at all. Like, just try to keep a good relationship or think of a different way to ask it. But, yeah, so Meet the Press did an interview with President Trump. He was out in Wisconsin. There were Joe Thomas, Cleveland Browns legend Joe Thomas.
Yeah.
Hall of Famer, first offensive lineman ever, if you know the meme. And they were just talking about, everything going on. And the reporters asking about everything, whether it's interest rates, stuff going on in California. And it got a little heated when it came to the California election. Understandably so. They're still counting. I don't know how they're still counting.
It's insane.
I mean, could you imagine if a school did if they taught us how to talk, that would be even better, huh? But could you imagine if a school did this with grading?
Oh man!
Like, hey, can I find out what my kids, how my kid's grade is?
We're still tallying up the
yeah,
numbers.
we're still tallying up the numbers. We found another test out of nowhere. We found another 2 exams that we forgot that they took. Can our jobs do this with our money? Can they just find random money to give us? Like, is that a possibility? Like,
we tallied up your hours for the week, and we've got more coming in.
Yeah.
So we got to wait.
Yeah, we forgot. Like, this isn't acceptable anywhere else but California and their elections. This is absolutely insane. And it's not just because I wanted Spencer Pratt to win, but I did. I think I've been very.
Most of California wanted Spencer Pratt to win.
I think I've been pretty clear about that. That I liked Spencer Pratt. I wanted to see if his ideas would work out. I liked his ideas. Hey, let's get rid of the naked drug addict running down the street so you can walk around with your kid. I think that's a good idea. I think that's something everybody can support. And I think it's because he had common sense policy like that, where he's going, I want to make sure that if there's another wildfire, that our reservoirs have water. I think that's not a crazy statement. That's not a crazy take. It's not a hot take. If anything, it'd cool down the hotness. Terrible joke. So let's, yep. All right, so let's get into what President.
I said it.
I
own it, and I stand by it.
You're damn right. All right, let's see what President Trump, what led to him walking out. And listen, I'm not for the I'm going to walk out. This I get. This I do, just because it's ridiculous. It's about a 2-minute clip, but we're going to play it in full. Here it is.
It was a dirty election, and it's happening again right now in California.
You've never presented evidence.
It's happening
that the
right now in California.
Rigged.
Right now, it's look at what's
Where's
happening in
the evidence
California.
To that?
It's
the
4
Republicans
days.
are doing well in
California. They're not. They're dropping fast because it's a rigged election. Let me tell you, it's 4 days. And they aren't even close to coming up with it.
That's how they count the votes.
You know why they're doing that? Because they're cheating on the election.
Do you have evidence to support
all
that?
I have to do is look. All I have to do is look.
That's not evidence.
And I listen to people, and let's see what happens.
But, sir, that's not evidence.
Do you think it's appropriate?
That's how they count the votes in
Do you
California.
think it's appropriate that they have an election, and 5 days later they're nowhere close to picking a winner?
State and local officials acknowledge they are slow. They're urging.
No, they're crooked.
They're urging the votes to be counted quickly. That's how they vote in California.
They're crooked, just like you're crooked. Your press is crooked, and Meet the Press is crooked.
To be fair, I'm not crooked, but let's
Really?
Let's
Well,
continue.
you play right into their hands.
Let's continue.
You're either crooked or you're stupid. You play right into their hands with this rap. You know that these elections are rigged. Your network knows that they're rigged. You know that I won an election in a landslide, and I got 94% bad press.
But, Mr. President,
you know why I got that? Because you have no credibility.
But you've never presented evidence that it was rigged. Let's keep talking about. I want to talk about Todd.
You have more evidence. There's more evidence than ever presented.
Let's talk about
your elections in this country. We're like a third world country.
But, sir,
your elections are crooked, and you're crooked, and Meet the Press is crooked, and so is ABC and CBS and CNN.
But, Mr. President,
you're one-sided crooked networks. Right, let's call it quits because I've had enough. Thank you, darling. Have a good time.
Mr. President, let's please. I traveled all the way to Wisconsin.
I've sat in the rain with you.
I know. I traveled all the way to
for an hour, on and off in the rain, and I've given you enough time. You ought to straighten out your press because you know what? A country can never be great with a dishonest press.
We traveled all the way to Wisconsin for this interview.
I just want to point something out. He's around 80, right?
Yeah, somewhere around there, yeah.
He got up, and he didn't go, this is how I know he's in good health. He got up, and not once did we hear, oh,
I know.
He got up, didn't hear it, he's in good health.
I do that all the time.
I do that. It got heated, but he brings up a good point, and we talk about it a lot here, the responsibility of media. Mm-hmm. What is it they're supposed to do? The problem with this entire interview is that she tried to change the subject. Listen to what he's saying. And even if you don't agree with it, at least hear him out.
Because stop talking over him too.
That too. But you had an hour with the president. You're sitting there and you're talking. And look, and you guys know, if I thought this was a bad thing that President Trump did, I'd be like, what the hell is he doing? Mm-hmm. I understand this. He's laid out numerous times the different arguments and the different ways that he feels the 2020 election was rigged. And they have not acknowledged it. And that's where the frustration's coming in. At the very least, look at it, dive into it, report on it. And then after the report, if you want to say, well, I think he's full of it, then by all means, you can still do it. You could still have that opinion. They won't even cover it.
No.
They won't even dive into the details that he's found about it. That's where the frustration is coming in. And then you do look at California. Every point he brought up about California is valid, to the point I talk to people who live in California. I know people that worked for these candidates, and they're even going, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen. And I tell them how to fix it. They don't like the solution. They don't like it at all because they think they could fix it. But sometimes you got to leave to fix it. I'll get more into what I mean by that when I come back. This is the Jake Underwood Show. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the Jake Underwood Show right here, AM 1420 The Answer, 102.9 FM, or free on Rumble when you search the Jake Underwood Show. We're talking about President Trump. He walked off the Meet the Press interview, and listen, he gave an hour of his time, which for a candidate or somebody in office is huge. That's a big amount of time.
That's a big amount of time for your local mayor, let alone the president of the United States.
Right. So, like, because I'm trying to in my head imagine, like, if I'm sitting there and I'm talking to the president and then he just walks off, like I'm looking at myself and I'm going, ooh, shouldn't have done that.
Ooh, what'd I do?
Yeah. See, and that's just it. And, you know, I'm not going to sit there and try to talk over him. I'm going to let him make the point that he feels needs to be made, because this is the issue with it, right? Because the reporter, or even the host, like, you know, when I talk to Congressman Max Miller, my job is to make sure that what he needs to say and what, you know, we review what happened, whether it's the previous week or the week to come, the different hearings and all that stuff, to make sure that you, the voter, and myself, because I live in his district, to make sure that we hear what's going on so we are informed. That's the job. That's our job as media, is to make sure that we relay the message to you if you didn't know it already, and if you knew it, then you know it even better. Mm-hmm. The job isn't to sit there and as they're talking and they're explaining it, but while they're talking, that's not the job. Now, if you want to go be controversial, you know, whoever, like, go do that. Best of luck. But you don't get anything done that way. Nothing gets done that way. And all you see is things become weaker. You know, people they're not engaged in elections. You know, everybody thinks that it's one way when in reality it's another, because you're just creating an echo chamber when you do that. You have to let, whether it's somebody you disagree with or agree with, you have to let them explain their point. Now, because I try to play devil's advocate to myself, so I'm going to do that now. Could you say that, well, you know, they've heard it all before, so she was trying to move on? Maybe, but that's the president of the United States. Shut up and listen.
But the whole point of it is it's supposed to be an interview, not a debate.
Correct.
You're not supposed to be debating who you're interviewing. You're supposed to interview them.
Right.
Your opinions and your, you know, thoughts really should play no part of this.
Could you imagine if, you know, Monday morning after a Cleveland Browns loss, or random day after, you know, Cavaliers or, you know, Indians loss, they call into the station to, you know, have the interview, and the host is sitting there going, well, you know, second down, I saw you ran the ball. I can't believe you ran the ball. Why didn't you run a post route? Like, the president is the only person that this really happens to. We don't hold local media, local media and local politicians accountable. And so it's just run amok. Like, she probably got a bunch of retweets, a bunch of follows.
Yeah.
NBC, they got a bunch, and a lot of people are going to watch it because they want to heighten the drama of it.
Yeah, like I said, if she wanted to, she could probably turn this into a congressional run.
At the very least, podcast. I don't want to think congressional run.
I'm just saying.
I don't want that.
I'm just saying.
But
they
yeah,
always try to make these about them.
Yeah, it was NBC's Christian Welker who was conducting the interview. And then, you know, when he said, you're either crooked or you're stupid. But let's call it quits because I've had enough. Thank you, darling.
And then he steps on the mic on his way out, too. I don't know if that was intentional.
I don't know.
It didn't look intentional, but it added a period
when
to
he
it.
stood up, because you got to remember, he's also a taller guy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know, I'm like 6'3" around there.
Yep.
When I was standing next to him, I maybe got a half an inch on the guy. So he's still a bigger dude.
Yeah.
So when he stands up, they got a light right above him, so he's got to like duck to get out of the way of the light and then, do all of that. So it was a nice set, but you hear the rain in the background. They're sitting there in the rain. So like this is the crazy thing, right? This is what's so crazy about the press, especially nationally. So he's sitting out there. He's in this barn. Obviously, I mean, the doors are closed, and they're trying to have the best acoustics possible because it's a very important interview. But it's cold. It's raining. So what if he gets the flu? Let's say he gets sick from this. President's in bad health. I can't believe that he got sick because he was outside. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. And I think that's what's really just that's where the trust went away. Because even let's say hypothetically he gets a cold from it. So he comes out and the next time he talks, he's kind of, sniffing a little bit, it would turn into, well, you got to wonder about the president's health. At
his age.
Yeah, at his age, this could be something that's a lot. And then you're going to have, what's his name? Steve Tarnacki? Is that the guy with the board on NBC? And he's like zooming in and zooming out. They do a full breakdown of how he got sick and when it happened. Like, it's just goofy stuff like that. And they dive in on such just the stupidest things. And that's why I trust, like, let's really break down. So how the interview was done. You're going to lose trust of people because you're not actually like diving into some stuff. And that's what's really going to annoy people. They're worried about interest rates. They're worried about gas prices, which have gone down. Mm-hmm. Gas prices were great over the weekend. Go fill up if you haven't.
Filled up yesterday, $4.39.
Right. So, and we're starting to see it swing back. So now what we're seeing is a desperate attempt to do whatever they can to just sit there and cause more drama and more division and just all these things. As a reporter, it is your job to ask the question and shut up. In fact, I do that. There are some times that feedback is like, you need to talk more. They're not tuning in to hear me. Like, I'm sorry, NBC's Kristen Welker. They're not tuning in to hear Kristen Welker. They're tuning in to hear the president. When I have Congressman Max Miller on, or when we have the Secretary of Labor on, or Secretary Kennedy, as much as I appreciate you all listening, I know you're not listening for me at that moment. I know this. And you know what? I'm not listening to the interview for me. I'm listening to the interview to hear the person that I'm talking to. Somebody else we want to talk to. They're on hold. They're on line one. Let's go to George. George, you're in the air.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
First of all, I have to vehemently disagree with President Trump. He said Christine Welker is crooked or stupid. She's crooked and stupid.
Point. So, well made. Well made. Yes.
Well said.
We missed that. Yes.
All right.
Thanks.
my next point on this 2020 election is many people tried to check out things, go to court, but the court ruled that certain people did not have standing, so the issue could not go forward. Other courts ruled that they missed the 30-day deadline after the election. It is NBC's job and other media, if they're journalists, they should have looked into all the anomalies and all the distractions and all the strange things. They could have started with 2,000 mules to begin with as a starting point if they needed. They could have went along with Time Magazine's article that came out in February that said basically that they cheated. So there were many follow-ups they could have done, but what they do is they badger President Trump. It's their damn job. They're the fourth estate. They're the journalists. They're the investigative journalists. Get off your ass and do your job. That's all I have to say.
George, well said, and thank you for the call. He's
Absolutely.
right. He's right. He's absolutely right. It's the media's job for that accountability to be there. You're supposed to give people the insight that they don't necessarily have or the resources to get it.
Can you imagine the coverage that would have happened if 2020 election happened exactly the same way it did, but you flip Trump and Biden?
Oh, yeah.
And there was...
It would have been crazy.
2 a.m. ballot dumps and, Trump miraculously pulls ahead.
Well,
Can you imagine the coverage that they would have gave it?
And, at the very least, it doesn't matter who won, right? And the reason why I say that is because, one, the results it's moved past, but we need to know what happened.
So we can stop that again.
Well, so we could stop it again. And I mean, you look at the year 2020 and just everything that happened there. Like, you want to know why people are so just constantly aggravated and they're so quick to just jump down someone's throat. They don't know where COVID came from. They still don't have answers.
We know.
Well, but I'm saying officially. I'm saying 50, 60 years from now, when they look at it, they're not going to know.
Maybe the lab named after
COVID.
Well,
yeah, right. But you get what I'm saying. Like, we don't have official answers or anything that's been officially looked into. And we need to have that so we have an understanding of the who, the what, the when, the where, and why. Because we know all but the why. And on some of these, we don't know the who, ironically enough. Get that? Because in the World Health Organization, but we know the who.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll continue talking about this because there were some other things that were said that were pretty good. And she asked some very good questions, and especially about the interest rates. I want to get into that a little bit. This is the Jake Underwood Show. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the Jake Underwood Show right here, AM 1420, The Answer. It's 10:35 on this beautiful Monday. Start of the work week. But it's going to be nice. Yes, June 8th. June 8th. In the beautiful year that is 2026 in the greatest Cleveland area.
Greatest.
That's right. We're talking about this Meet the Press stuff. Because, I mean, there are some people losing their minds about it. I mean, this person, I mean, I don't know this person. I don't follow them, but it popped up, and it's got a lot of likes and retweets and different things. So I'm like, all right, there seems to be a lot of people feeling this way.
Some traction.
And, somebody said, trying to imagine the reaction if a female politician, if Kamala Harris in 24 said and had done the same as in this interview, screamed and huff and puffed like this, then walked out. Also, Trump's darling line. Sheesh. All right. Take a breath. If you're someone who feels like that, let me just, can I just try to talk to you there for a second, if you don't mind? Stop screaming for a second. Yep, there you go. So here's the thing about that. First of all, darling, it's a term of endearment.
Uh-huh.
And you also have to realize they know each other. They'd been sitting there talking for an hour. And once again, context. Understand the time and the way that President Trump was raised. It's the same. Like I call, even if somebody's older or younger than me, I should say, I still call them sir sometimes. I'll be like, yes, sir, sounds good. Like that's just a habit of mine. If somebody's around my age, yes, sir, sounds good. Yes, ma'am. Hello there, ma'am. Like I just, that's just the way that I talk.
It's not like he was sitting there and she asked a question. He's like, this broad.
Yeah, like, I mean, let's cool it on the being mad and, trying to grandstand on things. I mean, there are plenty of things to grandstand on. I don't think.
Darling? You're going to get mad at darling?
Like that one, like, I mean, are we going to be mad when somebody goes, well, she's really pretty? Like, what's next? Like, what's the next thing that we want to try to be mad about? So, just take a breath. And I could imagine if it happened with Kamala. You mean a presidential candidate, because she was never president, presidential candidate walking off of interviews being upset? Yeah, no, Kamala did that.
Mm-hmm.
Kamala did that. And then, she turned around and she would just giggle and laugh.
Or she didn't do that, they would edit her answers for her.
Correct. In fact, wasn't it NBC that did that?
I think it was 60 Minutes. Is that NBC?
How
CBS.
sad is it that we know that they're all they were all edited somewhat to the point that we have to sit here and question which one did it the most.
Mm-hmm.
That's where we're at. So yeah, I mean, it does happen. So just to be fair, just to kind of give that opposite side of it there, it happens on all sides. People get mad. I mean, Joe Biden would get confused and walk away, and then people would just laugh and giggle and go, oh, that old Joe. Like, it's so it's happened. It's happened all over the place. But what we saw was a reporter trying to make themselves the story. And I haven't heard any of the follow-ups that she's done about it. I'm sure she's going to say, oh, it was so intimidating and I couldn't believe it, which, I mean, is just going to backfire on her.
Yeah, I can't imagine her saying that.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that's more of a social media narrative that's going to be put out there,
I think
she's going to say she stood firm. And
I think she'll run with him being childish.
Ooh, yeah, no, that's a good take.
I think that would be her angle.
Yep. Well, in that interview, because like I said, there were some good questions that came and some good answers that came out of that. And President Trump, he spoke about interest rates and how they went up. Because look, if you follow us on social media, you'll see because we do post clips of the show where, some people are upset about the housing prices and interest rates and different things like that. And so they were asked about it. And President Trump's been very vocal about when it comes to the interest rates and the Federal Reserve. And this is what he had to say.
After this month's jobs report, economists now say it's possible the Fed may have to raise rates. Do you think that's possible, and what would your reaction be, sir?
So I'm of a different feeling. I think Kevin's fantastic, and I want him to do whatever he wants. I don't want to have a big influence on him. But we had a great report. We're doing great. And it's unfair that whenever you do great, they want to raise interest rates. It should be the opposite way. If you go back 15 or 20 years, when you had good reports, the market went up. Nowadays, when you have good reports, the market goes down because they think they're going to raise interest rates. There's no reason to raise interest rates. The country becomes great. We built the country by doing great and having rates low. What they do is when they raise interest rates, they try and kill success. I don't want to kill success. We should actually lower interest rates. Now, if inflation comes, and people live with inflation, but if inflation comes, what happens is you stamp it out. But success can kill inflation, just like higher interest rates. What they do now is, like, we had great job numbers. You agree, right?
They beat expectations.
Not expectations, like 3 times. Okay, but you ready? What do? They say, oh, let's raise interest rates. It's the wrong thing to do. I would like to see rates get lower, because we could build this into the greatest machine that the world has ever seen. But you can't do that when everybody immediately raises interest rates. So we had great job numbers. We're doing great. We're building more factories. We have more money coming into our country right now from other countries and people than ever before. Wait a minute. What happens? I don't want to just kill it with high interest rates. Growth is the greatest thing you can have, and growth does not cause inflation.
So real quick, you could hear the rain really starting to pick up there towards the end of that clip because they were sitting in a barn. But what he's saying about interest rates is absolutely true. And you have to create the opportunity. And interest rates is really what's killing people on bills and credit cards and housing and these different things. That's what's, I mean, it's that invisible layer of payment that you don't realize is there.
It's extra payments. It's really what it comes down to, because whatever you owe, say it's $1,000, it ends up being $2,000 by the time you're done.
And we've talked about that with credit cards in the past when we start to break it down a little bit on how just credit cards, it's crazy. The interest rate stuff is crazy. And to be fair, this is not a new take from President Trump when it comes to interest rates. He's always kind of had that approach with like, well, yeah, I mean, the prices could be higher, but if interest rates are lower,
it works itself out.
Yeah, it's going to work itself out. And I mean, it's just it's the reporter trying to make themselves the story that really just
she couldn't even really give them on the job numbers. She couldn't. They're all higher than expected. No, they were great.
Right. They were triple. They were triple the amount that you said they were going to be. And of course, we spoke with acting labor Secretary of Labor on Friday. He actually called in like an hour after the report was released. You can hear that when you go and search the podcast, or it's also on our Rumble page if you want to hear the breakdown of that report, because it was 3 times.
Yeah,
they expected 60 to 80, or no, it was even less than that. It was like 40 to 60, and it ended up being 172,000. So, like, look, I understand the frustrations, and there are some things I'm frustrated about when it comes to this administration.
Well, you're never going to be 100% happy with anyone.
And listen, if you're 100% happy with the way things are going, I don't think the problem is everybody else. I'm going to be completely honest with you. You have to be willing to critique things as they come to you. And you should want perfection, especially out of your government, because they're using your money for it. So it should be spent the best way possible. But I mean, this was people are going to try to blow this out of proportion. I don't think the walking off was that big of a deal. I get it.
No, as a matter of fact, I think he's shown a lot of patience and restraint.
Before
walking out.
Yeah, that was, you like I said, as a reporter, you sit there and you get the answer. You don't make it about you. It's not about you in that moment. React to it later. You can always react to it. Like you have as much time as you want to react to it with social media and all these different things. You get your reaction out, but in the moment to sit there and I'm going to grandstand at this moment instead of getting the information out there, well, then you're just bad at your job. Like, that's what she did more than anything. She did a bad job. It's not your job to grandstand. It's your job to get the information out there.
It's not your job to debate the president. It's your job to interview him.
Right.
Stop trying to debate when you're supposed to be interviewing. There's a difference.
So goofy. When we come back, Joe Thomas was a part of all the things that President Trump was doing up there with Secretary Rollins. So we're going to play some of that just to keep you guys informed. And plus, it's Joe Thomas.
Yeah.
Cleveland Browns legend.
Everyone loves Joe.
Right. Everyone loves Joe. You know Joe Thomas. So, excuse me. So we're going to talk about that when we come back. This is the Jake Underwood Show. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the Jake Underwood Show right here, AM 1420 The Answer, 102.9 FM, or free on Rumble when you search the Jake Underwood Show. I am Jake Underwood, the man behind the glass. Is one Mr. Kenny Kid. Good morning, Kenny.
Hi.
How's it going, Kenny?
Good.
Very good.
How you doing?
I'm all right.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I'm all right. Joe Thomas was sitting next to President Trump, so that was cool to see. And, we know he was fishing on draft day. He's always been a farmer. He's always had that connection. And so, he's kind of, I don't want to say that he's teaming up with the Trump administration, but he's definitely there to guide them along when it comes to, small beef producers. And I want to clear something up as I'm seeing it in the comments here. They're like, define small, because this guy's partnered with a restaurant chain with 155 locations. When you compare it to, I don't want to say, when you compare it to the producer, to Big Meat, when you compare it to the companies that have just taken over all of it, so like Tyson and all, like it is that's relatively small, which really tells you just how out of control it's gotten. Mm-hmm. Anyways, this is what Joe Thomas had to say, and President Trump gives him a pretty good intro here.
So Joe, great football player. I would say one of the truly greats, Hall of Famer. Thank you.
Thanks, Mr. President. Joe Thomas, Hall of Fame Farms, Muscoda, Wisconsin. You should come visit. It's beautiful. I got to pump Secretary Rollins' tires a little bit for the Small Processors Action Plan, because as a farm-to-table beef producer like myself, we see one of the biggest bottlenecks in our country is the lack of small packing and processing plants. For people like me that are trying to raise farm-to-table beef, Wagyu and Angus, and be able to feed our community, and she's doing great work with that new mission to be able to help us be able to feed our communities and not have to rely on trying to get into the big four packers, which is often impossible and leads to higher costs for the customer and less money and revenue for the farmer and the producer. So thank you very much, Mr. President, and thank you, Secretary Rollins, for all the work you're doing for us small beef producers. On Wisconsin.
So Joe, he played a long time in the NFL. He's a Hall of Famer. Who is the greatest quarterback you've ever seen?
Oh, that's a tough one. Is anybody listening here? Because Brady and Manning were pretty good, and I'd have a hard time picking between either one of those guys.
And who is the greatest running back you've ever seen?
I never got to see him in person, but Jim Brown or Barry Sanders are my two.
Okay, good. For football fans, got to keep it.
There you go, for football fans. I would have laughed if he said like P.J. Walker. I'll be honest. I wanted him to take a dig at the Browns so bad.
I wanted him to say Baker. I wanted to say
right.
Or
Trump. You blocked for a lot of different quarterbacks in your time because that franchise is a disaster. Just something like that would have been great.
Like Kelly Holcomb. I don't know.
Right. Like, Tim Couch. I mean, he would have been great if it was for the injuries and if they built around him. But I brought up how, people, comments, because everything's comments, that's how you get it. That's what I do like about social media, because sometimes on the bigger posts like this has over 1 million views. So you can go through the comments and it's kind of its own little poll.
Yeah.
So you get a feel for things. But, define small because, he's got 155 locations. Did you hear what he said? It's down to 4 companies. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
And with the way that, look at cell phone companies. It used to be 5, now it's 4. And then you're going to hear about one getting bought out, and then it's going to be 3. And then 3 turns into 2. Yep. And that's how it works. So we do, we need to support farmers. We need to do these things. Now, what bothers me the most, because, we were talking about Trump walked out and the interview and all of that, is that I don't want this to get overlooked. What we just played a clip of there, where he is, he's fighting for the American farmer. He's doing what he needs to do. He's creating more opportunities for the farmers instead of worrying about, an NBC reporter who's looking to get some attention and maybe some likes, clicks, and retweets. And that's what, we're going to focus on now, because that's what the focus of the night has become now, is just that.
The only way the end of that interview could have been better is if Trump would have said something like this.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are we getting a little emotional?
But does he stand by it? That's the real question.
Yes, I said it. I own it, and I stand by it.
Well, if he stands by it, then by all means, that's what we got to stick with.
So good.
But, it's important to, we get caught up in the drama of it all and different things. And look, when it comes to the California numbers, just all of it's crazy. I got a breakdown of the percentages here. And then with the L.A., I actually have the numbers. So Spencer Pratt is down, but he's down by 3,100 votes.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
he's not getting another vote.
It's going to be interesting to see how that works, isn't it? It's and they're saying approximately 1.9 million votes have been counted so far, with additional ballots still outstanding. Mm-hmm. Come on, that's the biggest joke, is that they could just turn them in whenever. That's nuts to me. And then when it comes to the California governor's race, Javier Becerra, he's at 27%. Steve Hilton is at that 26 to 27%, and then Tom Steyer, who, if you recall, when the Swalwell stuff started happening, I said, watch for Tom Steyer. Mm-hmm. He's going to try to play that moderate, and he's gaining ground. I mean, he's got 20%, but,
And then California is currently blocking a federal audit of its voter rolls.
Oh, well, yeah, of course. I mean, why wouldn't they? I mean, for goodness sakes. It's all a joke. And, this is the problem, and it all really does tie together. When you have the media, trying to make the story about themselves, and then you have them, saying that, well, we've never really seen any evidence of an election being stolen, and you have the president going, well, yeah, you guys haven't looked into it. There you go. Now you're going to have distrust in the media, and then on the other side, the people that don't agree with the president, now you're going to have distrust in the president, because you can look. This is at least how I think of it, and I could be completely wrong here, and by all means, I'm open to being wrong. You might not trust the government, but you want to have a little bit of faith and trust that the person that you elect to put in that position is going to do the right thing. You want to believe that you can trust them. So now you have doubt in the media from one side, and because of the media not doing their job, that casts doubt on the government on the other side. And now you have the election stuff, which both sides are frustrated about. And now you just got people losing their minds. Like people in Ohio, like I'm talking about it just because it's one of the national stories. If Spencer Pratt wasn't in the L.A. race, we probably wouldn't be talking about this. I'm going to be completely honest.
Spencer Pratt or anyone else, if there was any Republican/independent in L.A. doing what he did, mm-hmm. getting the numbers that he did, the traction that he has, we would be talking about it because it's a big deal, because L.A. is so blue and there's a lot of shady things that go on in L.A., so the world's keeping an eye on this. The world's watching.
And as I've said before, as much as we want to think that, Cleveland should represent the United States, it doesn't worldwide. It doesn't. It's New York and L.A., so we want to make sure those two cities are in a good spot. But, what If Spencer, as you said, Kenny, if Spencer Pratt or if a Republican / independent didn't have this presence in that race, we wouldn't be talking about it. So we really wouldn't be bringing, attention to it. But I mean, people are getting bent out of shape about it. Mm-hmm. I see locally here, and it's like, what? It doesn't affect you. It doesn't. But to the people of California, there's a very simple way to fix this. And the reason I'm saying it doesn't affect them is because Ohio doesn't vote the way California does.
No, but in a way, this does affect the whole country, because if Spencer Pratt is not on the ballot in L.A. come November, Republicans in L.A. might not even go vote.
They haven't been.
That's what I'm saying. And
right.
What's the governor?
Hilton.
If he's not on the ballot, Republicans statewide might not show up. So that's going to affect Congress. That's going to affect any Senate seat. That's going to affect the voter turnout.
But there was
November. So that does translate into affecting the entire country.
But there were already more Democrats that voted than Republicans.
I understand that, but it doesn't help, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, no,
it doesn't help voter turnout if
you're not wrong.
If you don't have a candidate on the ticket, why would you bother?
Yeah, you're not wrong. But the way to fix this, and the people of California don't want to hear this, and this is where I'm at with it, and this is what I've been telling them. The way you fix it, they have to leave.
Mm-hmm.
They have to leave. You have to take away the amount of representatives. You have to have a mass exodus of California the same way you did of the Midwest. That's just the way that has to work.
And that is happening, maybe not as much as it should be.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, they're just replacing them with illegals.
Well, and that's true. And that's true. So you need to get out and build up maybe the good red states that need a little more. But understand that a Republican in California will be considered a Democrat there. So shut up and listen to the people around you that have made that state so good. That's the way that works. This is the Jake Underwood Show. When we come back, we're going to switch it up a little bit. Some shootings over the weekend locally, one in Toledo and one in Cleveland. We're going to get into the details of that when we return. This is the Jake Underwood Show.
National headlines matter, but what happens here in Cleveland and across Ohio matters more. That's what we talk about every day. This is the Jake Underwood Show on AM 1420. The Answer.
Welcome back to the final hour of the Jake Underwood Show right here on this Monday, June 8th, 2026 edition of the Jake Underwood Show. I am Jake Underwood. The man behind the glass is one Mr. Kenny Kidd. Good morning, Kenny.
Hi.
How's it going, Kenny?
Good morning.
Good. And good morning. Right back at you there.
Well, thank
pal.
You. I will have a good morning now that you mentioned it.
There it is. So, a violent weekend over the weekend, to say the least. We have a shooting to report in the Cleveland area, as well as the one in Toledo, and that's the one that really was making some headlines over the weekend. To the point that, excuse me, to the point that Governor Mike DeWine actually came out and made a comment on it on social media. For those who don't know, and the search still continues for the gunmen or gunmen's, plural. They believe there could be more than one.
Wait, gunmen is plural.
That's true. That is true. So that more than one. They believe there's more than one shooter, I should say. It was at a Toledo festival. It was called the Old West End Festival, and 12 people were shot. They are wounded, and police are just asking for any information, videos, pictures, whatever it might be. Those shot ranged from ages 14 to 61 years old, the lieutenant confirmed. And actually, it came out, this was George Carl. He's Toledo's director of public safety. He came out and said there were several hundreds of people there. And everyone is one of these, which, he pulled out his cell phone. He said, I know in my heart that footage is out there. So he's imploring any Toledoans to look through their cell phone videos and reach out to the police department and help them catch the people who did this. This is one of the most iconic festivals in Toledo, and it's a shame that something like this had to ruin it. So they are looking for information. So if you know anyone in that area, because the last I've heard, there have not been any updates on the arrests. And here's the problem with it is that that was a weekend story, so now the news is going to find other things to talk about, so they won't talk about it as much as they should. Mm-hmm. So if anybody has information, and as we get updates, we'll keep you updated on it. I mean, just sad. And listen, if you really want the suburban people, suburbia, to lose their minds, go ahead and ruin festivals.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a lot of patience with these dummies that want to go around and shoot. I mean, way more patience than there should be. And I know that sounds crazy, but because they are happening a lot, there is patience there. Stop with we got to stop the teen takeovers. We got to stop all of this stuff. There's got to be a police presence here because look, there are certain traditions that people look forward to. And I'm not saying that because it's, you don't want to inconvenience their lives. There's tradition that comes along with it. And some of these, it's got to do with ethnic traditions, whether it's, a polka festival or Polish, Hungarian, Greek, whatever it might be. You can't get in the way of that. And what I'm saying is that people have a lot of patience, and there are a lot of excuses that could be made, and we hear them made daily about this stuff. But if you really want to see the division like really split quick, start getting in the way of those because it's not going to be good.
Yeah, you start messing with Dingus Day or the Feast of the Assumption in Little Italy or St. Patty's Day, any of those. And
look it's
out,
just
man.
Yeah, it's not going to be good. And it's not going to be good because the people that have had a lot of patience will not have patience anymore. Mike DeWine released a statement about the shooting in Toledo. He said, I am deeply concerned about the situation in Toledo. This was on the day of, so tonight. Summer festivals should be safe spaces for families to spend together without fear of violence. He went on to say that he and Fran are praying for everyone impacted by the incident and that they are confident law enforcement will locate the suspects involved in the senseless crime. And that's exactly what it is. It's senseless. It's just dumb. I mean, when the people that were hurt by it, when the ages range from 14 to 61, it's not targeted. Mm-hmm. Like, what are you so mad about that you're going to do something like that? Like, I genuinely want to know. To me, this comes down to a lack of God in society. That's really what it comes down to.
Mental instability.
Just, we've talked about it time and time again, but until something's done about it, I'm going to believe that this is what causes the issues. It's the shoving pills down people's throats, mind-altering pills, whether they want to admit it or not. People act differently when they're on pills, whether it's an Ambien to sleep or it's an Adderall to wake up. It alters their mind. It alters their body. And if they take it so much, you don't know the long-term effects of these drugs. And we see senseless shootings like this that make no sense to anybody. And then we sit here and we publicize. I mean, when these people get caught, that's when it'll be, a story again. And that's when you'll see it plastered all over the news, all over. And I don't know what it's going to take for the media to realize, like, hey, stupid, listen, when you do that, you're going to have copycats. Why? Because we have a society now that some people, all they worry about is getting likes, clicks, and retweets and notoriety. Trying to have a presence somewhere. You realize there are grown men that will have full social media dedicated to certain ball players, whether it's football, basketball. I'm talking 30-year-old men that sit there and all they do is talk about this one person because they can get views. Like it's weird. It's weird this mindset that people are in. And here's the thing. We can't sit here and go, well, I understand, and I think this is this. And that's why I said I have my theories on it. We don't know. This is all brand new to us. It's all brand new to us. To us, not to God. By all means, if you're going through something like that, please turn to God. Because you're not going to make mistakes like this. Like the next one we're going to talk about that happened in Cleveland. You're not going to make mistakes like that. Get that little voice in the back of your head. I talked about it with Robert Kylo last week when he was in on Thursday. You go back and listen to that on WHKRadio.com. But we spoke about how just that lack of just, I guess you could say morals. Mm-hmm. But that really is it. It's just lacking in that little voice that used to be there in the back of your head. And I said, you can push as many pillows as you want over the speaker. You're still going to hear it. It's going to be dull. But, the more you push it away, the softer it's going to get. You got to make sure that voice is strong in your head. And I'm not here to preach to you. I'm not a preacher at all. But, when we see this just senseless violence all the time, and we see that our country and just we as a country and as just people are getting further and further away from God, I think we can figure out the correlation there and what the problem is. The problem is that we're lacking God. We're lacking those morals. We're lacking that standard of human living, of just being safe. The one in Cleveland, I mean, this is crazy. This is from Fox 8. 5 people are recovering after being shot early Sunday morning while playing cards in Cleveland. They're playing cards. Cleveland Division of Police officials say that the shooting happened. It was on East 106th Street around 4:20 a.m. All 5 victims were transported to local hospitals where they are reported stable. One female was shot in the buttocks. Nice way to say it. One unidentified victim was shot in the foot, another in the leg, another in the abdomen, another in both legs. Police say the suspect started shooting. The reason the suspect started shooting is unknown and remains under investigation. They're playing a game of cards. Like what? I don't know. Maybe because I grew up in Lodi and like southern Medina County, maybe it was like an old-fashioned upbringing. But what happens to like you just have a disagreement? You go outside, you punch each other in the face a few times, you get up and you go, all right. Or, yeah, I was wrong. Yeah, no, you're right. Okay, or I'm done. You're right. Like, what happened to that? Like, why are we doing the gun things? And listen, to the people that, because I can already hear it now, he's anti-gun. Not at all. Not at all.
Nope.
I'm anti-stupid people having guns, but you know who's not to determine who's stupid? The government. Because the government themselves is stupid, so I don't trust them to tell me who's stupid. And if you put laws against it, bad people are going to break the law to get guns. So that's not what this is at all. We are lacking something very, very seriously in this country. Because, we talk about the ones that happen in the cities, but it happens all over the country. That's the problem. I don't know. We'll talk about this and more when we come back. This is the Jake Underwood Show. Welcome back to the Jake Underwood Show right here, AM 1420. The Answer. It's so. We're talking about the gun violence happened over the weekend. The one up in Toledo, where 12 people were wounded. Then the one that happened in Cleveland that's grabbing the headlines, where 5 people were shot playing cards in Cleveland.
Do we know? Was it one of the people that were playing cards?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe. I mean, there's not everything I read. Those are the details that I have. I don't get it. I don't. I really don't. I've never. I don't know.
I mean,
I wish. It's one of the. It's like that double-edged sword where you wish you could understand, but you hope to never understand because you don't want to be in that mindset.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just.
I'm not sure. I have no details of the card game itself. If it was a high stakes game, someone's probably gambling with money that they didn't have. That they couldn't afford to lose. And that's the secret to gambling. If you're ever going to gamble, you got to be willing to lose what you're gambling.
Right.
You can't take your life savings and your house payment and car payments and gamble because. There's a very good chance you're going to lose. The odds are never in your favor when you're gambling.
Yeah, it's just, it's just heartbreaking. It really, and then like and then the festival, like the Ohio Festival.
Yeah, that one bothers me much more.
It's just so messed up, and I don't understand it. Like I said, what happened? Like, I mean, I've had that, and in fact, I won't say with who. When I was on the campaign. Tensions built up to the point I went, do we have to go outside?
Mm-hmm.
Like, if we need to go outside and punch each other in the face a few times, okay. Like, let's just go outside. Like, it's sometimes that solves it. Like, And I know that, you know, especially in school, they push the whole like, no, violence is not it. I would rather be punched in the face and get into a fight than shot or stabbed.
Yeah.
So by all means, fists can sometimes. I'm not saying to go punch, you know, just random people in the face. I don't want it to come off that way. But I think like settle them with what does the dad say in Friday? Be a man. Settle it with these.
Yeah.
That's the way that works.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people out there that need to get punched in the face at least once.
Well,
in their life.
I mean, listen, if you don't get your bell rung at least once in your life, have you lived? I'm not saying that to be funny. I'm being genuine. Look, I've gotten into fights and you get humbled real quick.
Exactly.
Like, and that's the way that works. And like I said, I would much rather, if I'm in an argument with someone, you know, let's go outside and solve it. And you know. You might get your bell rung. That's completely fine. You know what you do? You stop,
and then you get up, dust off.
Sometimes, you know, they'll still continue.
Your differences.
Right, you work out your differences, or you walk away. But either way, it's those people. It's the two that have the problem that solve it. We don't have to drag other people into it.
That's another thing that's so disturbing about the Toledo one is A, it was a festival, and B, it doesn't seem like there was anything personal. Like it doesn't seem like
there was no lead up to it. That's what I'm confused about, and I think that's why police are like, hey, if you guys have footage of something that happened, like, and I'm not saying that it's justified if there was an argument or something,
no,
but
it
would at least make more sense if there was a disagreement between two people, somebody had a gun, and then you know. That something dumb like that happened. Like I said, it's not justified. But right now, it just seems like there was a random shooting.
Yes,
and 12 people, ages 14 to 61, are hurt.
Some mentally unstable person with a gun just decided to open fire.
Right.
That's kind of what it sounds like to me. I don't have the facts.
I mean, that's what it sounds like to me also. That's how I'm looking at it right now. I mean, they have all the charts and everything here with gun violence and all of that. But as I said, see, this is the problem. And you know, you'll have the people that go, well, there needs to be things done about guns. Look, I don't think anybody disagrees. Criminals, you need to take the guns away. But the problem with that is that if you start putting laws in, you're going to take the guns away from the wrong people. Criminals are going to break the law. Shockingly, that's what they do. Hence why they're criminals. Like, we laugh because it is so ridiculous to say it like that, but that's just what it is. That's just the truth of it. So, like, we could sit here and grandstand and we should not have any more guns. That's stupid. That's dumb because the bad people are always going to find a way. They're always going to find a way to break the law. You need to make sure that, one, people aren't scared of a gun. Well, see, like, you have to be willing to make it. Like, look. The gun only has so much power as the person who holds it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really, if the person can't aim, this pen, guns shoot people, pens write things. Pen, write my after show promo. Do it. It can't because it only has the power that the person holding it holds. That's it. So if we're going to sit here and ban guns, you're not going to do anything. Because like I said, bad people are always going to find a way to do bad things.
See, and it's a completely different conversation than the ones that people are willing to have. It's not a gun problem. It's a mental health problem.
That's exactly right.
It's not good. Because you take the gun out of the equation, they're going to grab a knife.
Correct.
They're going to grab a sword, you know, whatever.
Well, look at what's going on in Europe, in those countries that have banned guns. Shockingly, people still get they still get robbed, they still get assaulted, they still get, you know, sexually assaulted, or if not worse. These things still happen. Like I said, bad people will find a way to do bad things. So to sit here and just try to, and I know that's the big talking point, they love bringing that up. I don't want bad things to happen to anybody. I don't want somebody who's walking into a festival to have to worry about getting shot or stabbed or anything like that. That's ridiculous. I love going to festivals, as I'm sure you do. But, like, because, as I said, we don't know, and I know there are going to be people out there, they're going to immediately want to make it about race. We don't know the race of the person that any of this happened to in Toledo, or who shot the gun. We don't know. And unfortunately, when it comes to mass shootings, we can talk about race, but, I'm just saying, the ones that are publicized, we know what they look like. They're all different colors. Some of them are different genders. Just depends on how they feel on that Thursday. Like, it's all over the place. It's a spectrum. Like, it's all over the place. So to just try to put it on one race or on one, something like that, when it comes to things like this, it doesn't solve the problem. As I've said before, if you want to play the race card, then it's okay for somebody else to play the race card. We can't do it with the race stuff. We can't. It's just we got it. They're going to try to make this something about guns and how they all need to be banned, and that can't be the case. It cannot be the case. And then on top of it, when you turn around, ooh, wow, good timing by Dave in Middleburg. Yep. Let's get to him. We're going to go to Dave in Middleburg. Dave, you're in the air.
How you doing?
Doing well.
I'm thinking about everything that you've been talking about for at least the last 20 minutes. That's when I got in my truck.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it all boils down to the lack of punishment for stuff. Nobody gets punished for nothing anymore.
Yep.
And then turn around, you can sue anybody for anything.
Yeah.
So this is what our society has grown through being too tolerant. And that's about all I got to say. That's my opinion on it.
Dave, perfectly said. No, Dave, well said. And that's so funny because I was literally going to say, and the problem is, and that popped up. Dave, you took the words right out of my mouth. Thank you for the call. You said it perfectly. For some people, jail might be a better living situation than when they're outside of jail. Mm-hmm. And that's it just is. I've had friends of mine that, especially, early on, like, oh man, right when they got out of high school, they were struggling. And, I don't talk to them for a few months, and it's like, where's so-and-so? Oh, they're in jail. Why are they in jail? Well, they were homeless. Why were they homeless? Like, what are we talking? What the hell happened? So for some people, jail is a better living situation. So it's not even a punishment when they go there. Like, this is the reality of the situation. And some, they go to jail. Some people, it does work. It is a punishment for some people. But it's almost as if giving up time in their life, it's not a punishment anymore. But financially, that's when you start to see the crime and different things start to, I don't want to say wither away because it's never going to go away. You're always going to have bad people. But that's when you start to see it like really set in, is when you see the financial fines kick in, or you see the different things like that kick in, which is a crazy thought.
But real quick, one of the main things with criminals going to jail is it gets them off the street.
Yeah.
Regardless on if it's a better situation for them or not, it's a better situation for us.
Yeah. Yep. There needs to be punishment needs to be punishment. That's just it. Like, yes, they deserve a second opportunity. Yes, but when when some people in jail are receiving more opportunities than the people who didn't break the law, that's when it becomes a problem. Just my opinion. We'll continue to talk about this and more. I'll tell people about how God tested my patience over the weekend. That more when we return. This is the Jake Underwood Show. Welcome back to the final 30 minutes of this Monday, June 8th edition of the Jake Underwood Show. I am Jake Underwood, the man behind the glass, picking the music, spinning the tunes, twirling the knobs. I have no idea. I'm trying to remember.
Pushing the buttons.
Pushing the buttons and pulling the strings. Yes. That was the one that Brad Sussman, when I would work with Brad Sussman, he would fill in at the old station I worked at. He would always say that. Pushing the buttons, pulling the strings, Jake Underwood. I'd be like, good morning, Brad. Brad Sussman was awesome. Great guy. Yeah, so I don't know what else I could say about the gun violence stuff. We'll find out as more answers come in. We'll try to see like what, just what happened, who it was, how it happened, different things like that. But yeah, so if anybody knows anyone in Toledo, tell them to call the police or to, they're asking you to call Crime Stoppers. I'll give that number out just in case. You can call or text to Crime Stoppers. It's 419-255-1111. Just, if anybody, videos, pictures, stories, whatever it might be. It happened right around. It was they started receiving calls at 5:37 p.m. local time, so 5:30.
And if you're a business in the area too, check your security cameras.
Your cameras.
You might have caught something and you didn't even realize if you were there, filming earlier in the day or like as it happened. If you whatever, maybe something in the background of what you were filming,
right,
might help police. So take a look.
Just and any bit of information helps. Let's see. Let's go to TJ. TJ, you're in the air.
Yeah, hi, Jake.
Hello.
Yeah, I think a lot of the crime problem we're having in America is that the little things aren't enforced anymore. You see people driving around with blacked out windows. It's illegal, but nobody enforces it. They got radar and stuff all on freeways and stuff, but nothing on the side streets with the way these people drive. These young people get the feeling, I can get away with this, I can get away with that, petty theft, breaking in a car. Well, eventually I can get away with anything. And I think Giuliani proved that in New York when he was mayor. When they started going after the little things, it made a big difference with the big crime problems.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and TJ, thank you for the call. I think you're exactly right when it comes to the little things. You gotta, if you know that you get busted stealing a candy bar, you're not going to steal a car. Like, it's really it's really that simple. Like if you know the little crimes are going to be taken care, are going to be looked into and taken seriously, then why would you even attempt the bigger crime? I think TJ brings up a good point. There's a lot of there's a lot of truth to that.
I don't know. I don't know many criminals, but I can't imagine they start with the car.
Right.
I think if you're going to start stealing things, you start with the candy bar.
Yeah.
You work your way up to a bike and then, whatever.
Right. Yep. All right. I got to tell the story about how the Lord, he tested my patience on Saturday. So my birthday was a few weeks ago. As a birthday gift, somebody was like, hey, go up to Walmart, get some tires on me. And I said, absolutely, let's do it. Great deal was going on. The appointment was at one. I won't say what Walmart because it wasn't on them. Okay.
All right.
And normally I don't go to like a Walmart for tires, but I'm like, all right.
Yeah, it was a good deal.
Yeah, it was a good deal.
Someone else was paying for it.
Right.
Why not?
So my appointment was at 1:00. I was there till 6:30.
Yikes.
Yeah, I was there till 6:30. Half of their work staff, they decided they were done. They just left.
Wow.
Yeah, no, they just left. Yeah, they just left. And
half the work staff at the automotive center or the entire store?
At the automotive center.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I was told. They just decided, they were like, I'm done. I'm out. I'm okay. And I was like, wow, all right, that's crazy. And there were like 4 people there. I guess they were having computer problems, all these different things. This isn't a knock on the people that stayed. Not at all. I mean, they were so polite. I mean, at one point they were offering to like bring me water, and I'm like, no, there's a water fountain there,
Yeah.
And it was funny because around the 4.5 hour mark is when my phone died.
Of course.
So I'm like, all right, boy, here we go. And I was working on stuff for the show, getting graphics designed and reading
making the
news,
most out of your time.
Trying.
Yeah.
I would have, had I known, I would have brought my laptop in. But I mean, there were worse places to be trapped for. No, not really. Well, I was trapped. I didn't have a way out.
Well, you didn't have your vehicle because you handed it over.
That's true. That is true. And I love my car. I'm not leaving my car. But there were worse places to be stuck. I mean, at one point I'm like, it was funny because I'm sitting there and I'm like, man, I'm hungry. Oh, hold on.
Oh,
I'm like, wait a second.
Here.
I'm like, I can just go buy a sandwich. So I went, bought some food and, walked around the store, ate it, had my receipt on me just in case. But it's funny because, I'm waiting there like 4.5, 5 hours and somebody's freaking out. They're kind of throwing a fit. And of course it's when nobody's around.
Temper tantrum.
Yeah. Like the cashier's not in there, because she's out on the floor helping, get things done, oil change, tires, all this different stuff. And I'm standing there. Well, I'm sitting in the chair, and the guy's standing there. He's losing it. Just, I dropped my car off 2 hours ago. Yeah, freaking out. And he looks at me. He's like, "How long you been here?" I go, since 12:40. It's like almost 5 o'clock. And he's like, "Really?" I go, "Yeah. I guess the Lord wanted me to learn patience today." And he just like looks at me and then immediately he's like, "Well, I mean, yeah, I guess you did." And I'm like,
I was here well before you.
Yeah,
so,
right.
You probably got another 2 to 3 hours there, bud.
No, like, take a breath. You're going to be all right. But no, he was getting an oil change, and I guess something happened with one of the filters didn't come in. Like, and it was funny because as I'm sitting there and I'm watching all this, not only did the Lord test my patience, and I want to think I passed. I thought I did all right. But, I've been asking for a lot of patience lately. So if you ask for it, and a situation will present itself where it's like, you wanted it, you got it, pal. And I said, thank you, Lord, for the lesson. No, I did. But it was funny because, I'm watching, and I guess something else that happened was the computer system went goofy.
Of course it did.
And like half of the appointments were just gone.
Oh.
Right. Which in my head, I'm like, we got to stop relying on technology as much as we do.
I know.
We have to. I mean, we absolutely have to. I mean, if that was written down in a book,
it would never have happened.
Unless water spilled on it, which I would assume then at that point nobody would allowed to have a drink back there. There's the little simple things that you can plan for, but we got to stop relying on technology as much as we do.
Now, do you think that was legit? I
do.
Or did someone delete
No, I'll tell you.
appointments?
No, I do, and I'll tell you
point,
why.
Half my staff is gone. Half my appointments might be gone as well.
Yeah,
Just saying.
Yeah, I'll tell you why I think it's legit. It's because I was sitting there for a while. So there were some former employees that came up just to be like, hey, what's up? And they're like, oh, it's a disaster. And they started explaining it. And it was legit. And to the point, they're doing that thing where because I'm sitting there, they're talking like this, and I'm like, I could still hear, but I'm gonna act like I can. I'm gonna stare at my dead phone. But it was. I felt bad, and the whole time I'm going, if they just had an appointment book where all this stuff was written down.
But still, they only have half the staff, so.
Well, I see now that I'm putting 2 and 2 together. I'm wondering if part of the reason why the staff we're out is because half of the appointments were wiped out. You had people pulling in with cars going, yep, I'm here for the 11:30. They're going, huh? What 11:30? They're staring at the screen. Because I'll be honest. I mean, I've worked at some places where the systems go down like that, and you're like, yeah, I don't know. There's literally nothing I could do. Whereas if we didn't rely on technology as much, you would still be able to do it. And it goes, and then I start thinking about AI data centers, and I'm like, man. Are we willing to trust AI is going to get all this correct? Because AI, listen, there are some days where I don't feel like, it'll be late at night and I'm like, man, I still got to prep for tomorrow. And I'm tired. I'm like, let's see what ChatGPT could do. And I pull it up and I go, what are the trending stories right now? They gave me stuff from 2 weeks ago. I'm going, all right, well, that was useless. Let me get up and, go prep now. So they're not.
If we allow AI to do our jobs, we're going to forget how to do our jobs.
And look at the way that it's already going. There's a lot of that. We got people that can't write cursive.
It's sad.
We got a generation that can't write or read cursive. And I don't mean to sound like old fogey when I say that, but that's important.
That's what our founding documents are.
Uh-huh.
And if you can't
can't read them, you don't know your rights. You ask AI to tell you, how can you trust it's going to do it?
And AI is only as good as whoever programmed it.
It only has, I'll edit that a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
It only has the intentions of those who programmed it.
Yeah.
Do you trust that? I don't know that I do. Quick shout out to KQ1111 in the Rumble chat. It said, good morning. Good morning. And then somebody said, happy blessed belated birthday, Jake. Thank you. It's over a month ago now, but thank you. But
hey, better late than never, Marie.
That's right. Thank you so much for that. That's very, very kind of you. When we come back, we'll put a bow on the show, final segment, kind of a review of what we talked about today and who we spoke with, and a little preview for tomorrow. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to the final segment of this Monday, June 8th edition of the Jake Underwood Show. Put a little bow on the show, if you will. And we discussed it during the break. There will be an after show tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow. There will be an after show. So That's exclusively on Rumble. No commercial breaks. It's just us talking, conversating and whatnot. And if you want to be a part of that, we have the live chat there. Feel free to give the channel a follow, The Jake Underwood Show. You can watch it there. You could also listen to it. You don't necessarily have to watch. But, and the chat's going off now. That's completely okay, Marie. No problem at all. Thank you for listening and watching. A big thank you once again to Congressman Max Miller for making the time. And I really do appreciate, because I know how busy he is. He's running around, going all over the place. And then also to Jeff and Gina from Gina's Gelato and Java. That stuff's so good.
That's so good.
Is it still in the freezer?
So I don't know. I'd be surprised
Yeah,
if it was. I would think someone probably would have took that home.
Yeah.
But
I thought about it on Friday, but I'm like, I don't want to be that guy. But I mean, to be fair, it's kind of worth it. Like I was sitting at home Saturday night, and I'm like,
man,
I should have, yeah. And I'm like, I could go up there. I had a birthday party to go to, and I'm like, I wanted some of the lime.
Lime. I didn't see the lime.
The lime gelato. I don't know what's going on. I'm like choking right now. Stand by.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know what's going on. Something in the air.
It's the asbestos.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. But yeah, I'm like choking right now. Apologize.
Yeah, right? It's
yeah,
still,
no, I'm
still
all right.
bothering you?
I don't know what's going
Got
on.
that tickle in your throat?
Yeah, I got a tickle.
I got cough drops if you need a
no,
cough
it's
drop.
not. No, it's not even like a cough drop tickle. I don't know what it is. It's like, I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, okay, so
and the shirt's not too tight. Anyways,
after show tomorrow.
Yeah.
Gelato was awesome today.
Yeah, Gelato was incredible.
Max
yes,
Miller was awesome today.
Yeah, sorry to sideline things there. I apologize, but yeah, no,
it's okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I know you're getting a little emotional.
I am.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are we getting a little emotional?
A little bit. I'm okay. I'm all right. I'm okay. But yeah, no, that's so funny. And then the fact that today not only did he double down, he goes, just be on the lookout. It might be something, might be just a little more generic.
I can't wait.
And listen, by all means, call them out. Call them out. If they can tweet about it, they could post about it. They go on Instagram Lives and TikTok Lives about it and go and speak to their constituents about it. Call them out. Do it.
And
do
the fact that you're getting it on the record is even better.
Yeah, get it on the record. Like I said, if they're so confident to stand there and proclaim it and put hashtags and everything else, then you own it. I'm not saying anything here that I wouldn't say anywhere else.
Yeah.
So why should they get away with it? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Yeah. The shooting stuff, it's still in the back of my head.
Mm-hmm.
It is. I hope, especially both of them, but the one in Toledo, I really want to find out the details on that, and I hope that some people are able to come forward and give them some help.
And if it comes out, and we have no idea, but if it comes out that this is someone who's been arrested several times and released without having to pay for their crimes,
mm-hmm.
I've said it before, and I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it every single time anything like this were to happen, is the judges responsible for that need to be held accountable as well. They need to be held accountable.
Yeah.
Because if you are going light on these criminals and putting them back on the street and putting the public back at risk, you're an accessory.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And I think we need to stop with we have to take this into account and this into account, this to account.
No, the only thing you take into account is the
crime
victim and the crime.
That's exactly right.
It.
Yep, that's exactly right. I agree completely. Now, I will say this. If it's one of these where it's like a victimless crime type thing, like if it's something like somebody stole a candy bar, something like that, or, stole something, okay, I'm willing to listen to that if it's the first time.
Mm-hmm.
If it is the first time. But I'm not, it's not.
Yeah, petty theft is a lot different than some of these violent crimes that we're seeing people just let loose on. Just, they grew up in a bad situation, so we're going to give them a pass again and again and again and again. And then why do you think they're repeat offenders? Because they're not being held accountable for their crimes, for their actions.
Somebody texted and said, "Hi, Jake, appreciate you being so thoughtful to these politicians coming on air with you. But come on, it's free campaigning for them, and they do work for us. Remember, and sometimes you treat them like the royalty." I don't know that I treat them like the royalty.
I don't know, whoever said that, I think they're...
Oh, I'm sorry. Are we getting a little emotional?
I think they're getting a little emotional.
No, I don't try to treat them like royalty, but I want to make sure that, because this is the thing. We see what happens in a lot of these media interactions. We saw it happen with President Trump, where they like everybody wants to have try to get a gotcha moment. And I don't care about gotcha moments. Mm-hmm. I want to be able to make sure that the information it's relayed from them to you. That's what I want to make sure happens. So, the fact that I say thankful, that I say thank you numerous times, absolutely I do, because they could easily say no. Mm-hmm. Like you could say, and to be fair with Congressman Max Miller, he hasn't really talked about his campaign.
That's the thing. Like,
yeah,
he's not coming on as a weekly campaigin ad. He's coming on to tell you what he's doing,
right,
as your public servant,
right,
in Washington. That's what he's doing.
Yeah, like if it was turning into a campaign speech every time, then I would agree with you. And that was from Charles. I like Charles. Charles says a lot of good text, actually. But it's not so much because I want to make sure that we're getting the information, and it's not through a tweet. It's actually from him. You can hear the tone in his voice when he says certain things or when he's explaining something. And that doesn't happen often. It used to happen all the time.
Yeah.
That used to be a regular thing on a lot of shows, and that's kind of died down because, it's turned into, this is my pontificating time. And I don't care about pontificating. I want to get answers. I want to make sure that we can find out as much as we possibly can when it happens. And that's why I like having the congressman on, or if the Secretary of Labor, when he hopped on, that was awesome.
Or Senator Moreno, I'd love to have him.
Oh
on.
my God, I would love to have,
pick his brain anytime.
I would love to have Senator Moreno or even John Husted on.
I think it's a public service having these people
absolutely
on, because
yeah, at the very least, let us know what you're thinking, because it's really easy to look at a vote and go, well, that's really dumb. I wouldn't have voted that way. That guy's this and this and this and this and just go through all the names that you could call somebody who disagrees with you. Or, like, for instance, I've asked Max about everybody likes to freak out about the fact that, he votes the way that he does when it comes to funding the Ukrainian war.
Yeah.
Stuff going on there. And I asked him about it. I've asked him about it like 5 times. So I really don't ask him about it anymore. But for those of you who don't know, his district has a lot of Ukrainian people. Mm-hmm. And that's who he's representing when he's making that vote. How can I rip somebody for that? I can disagree with it, but if there's reasoning there that I could go, all right, I might not agree with it completely, but I get it. I understand that. Like, he's not voting on behalf of himself. He's voting on behalf of his district. And there are not many people in Congress like that. They're not. I mean, look at AOC. Look at Chicken Squawker. Tlaib. And look at Tlaib in the background of that clip. Like, look at her. Like, you think their people are represented? More importantly, do you think they're getting answers? Not at all. But yeah, if it comes off as me treating them as royalty, not at all. But also at the same time, if I disagree with something that they say, I want to make sure that they explain it completely, and then I move on. And the reason why is because I have plenty of time to talk. We got 3 hours here. You have plenty of time to react. We got 3 hours here. That's all I'm saying. This is the Jake Underwood Show. We'll be back tomorrow. Don't forget, after show tomorrow, Jim Renacci at 10:35 tomorrow. I'm excited to pick his brain on what's going on out there in California, what he's seeing in the polls. Now that, the election's over, question mark?
I don't
Quotations?
know.
What goes on in California? It's absolutely crazy. Tell someone about Jesus today. Pray for the victims of these shootings that they get figured out. We'll be back tomorrow. Have a great day.